All right, we'd like to welcome you guys to the Thorn room. My name's Mike,
My name is Dre.
and this is just a little afterthought, of the episodes, and we just want to talk a little bit, dive a little deeper on the things that we've been talking about, and go from there. So, first off, I'd just like to say, Dre, like, how have you been, man? Like, since the last time, I know we had a lot of people on, but how are you doing? How you been? How do you feel?
Ooh, I've been good, man. I've been good. I've had my ups and downs lately, just kind of, trying to get the business going and work and trying to find balance with everything. But overall, I'm doing good.
Nice, nice, nice.
How about you?
It's been tough, man. It's been a struggle, Like you said, finding the balance. I feel like, work's been hectic. Life has been crazy, But I will tell you one thing. Doing this podcast, I think it's opening my eyes to a lot of things, right? You just hear about people's struggles, the things they've been through, and it's like, it helps you understand that the outer exterior of people that you see is not always the inner interior. You know what I mean? And it's like what they've been through kind of defines them of who they become. And I really enjoy it. We're getting to see a different side of people, So
I agree. I was thinking about this the other day because I was like, we had a conversation last time. You're like, Dre, I want to see that uplifting, how I am in the gym. And I go, that's one side of me.
yeah,
I'm a lot of different pieces, a lot of different parts to me, right?
Right.
And sometimes, like, when we get deep down into mental health or deep down into life experiences and the real stuff,
yeah,
like sometimes I'm not so energetic because I'm
yeah,
like, yeah, Dre, this ain't really nothing to laugh about, but I thought of this quote, right? It says, sometimes the happiest people are battling the biggest demons, right?
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
so you on the outside you see all these people uplifted and energetic, but deep down you don't really know what's going on, right?
right.
And it made me think of what was that actor?
Robert
Robin
Williams.
Williams,
Yeah,
right? And I grew up watching, Mrs. Doubtfire, all
yeah,
these different movies, and I was like, man, this guy looked like a happy guy. And then I remember hearing that, he committed suicide, and I
yeah,
was like, wow, I think that was like my first brush with you. You really just don't know what's going on with people,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And so I think that's the beauty of our podcast. I think the beauty of our conversations is like, I do this for a living, but a lot of people don't really know, what someone you might see on a regular basis is actually
yeah,
going through, right?
yeah, yeah. And I think when I say you're energetic, right, I don't mean you have to be laughing and joking,
Mm-hmm.
right? I just feel like there's a difference in energy,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's
Mm-hmm.
the energy that you give off, and it's like you can still have a real conversation, but it
Oh yeah,
feels
yeah.
like you can feel it, And like you said, you had a lot on your mind and a
Mm-hmm.
lot
Mm-hmm.
going through, But I do feel like these moments in these seats are what bring us to different like aspects in our life, And
Mm-hmm.
it just helps other people pull them from where they're at, So
100.
but I do got a question, like, just in the conversation we just had with Jimmy, I want to get into these things because I feel like, we interview other people and they get a glimpse of things we're going through, but we don't always get to say everything we need to say because, it's more about the people we're interviewing. We were talking about loss and,
Mm-hmm.
and I know it's a tough subject, but you also said at the end of it that you lost your brother,
Mm-hmm.
you know, how did you go through that or how are you dealing with it?
Yeah.
It's like in a moment where you're at a point where you lose your brother, like what is your mindset like?
Right. No, and I think that was the beauty of that last episode was, kind of hearing your guys' stories and your journeys and from both of you, from two different people
Yeah,
that, I have conversations with on a regular basis and how open you guys were about it. But I thought you brought up a huge point of like, I feel like I'm forgetting. I feel like I feel ashamed almost,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And in that moment when you said that it just hit me, like, because my brother, it was such a painful experience, I asked much of the same questions you guys were talking about earlier, like why is this going on? Why did you take him? Somebody that like had such a bright future.
Yeah,
He had
yeah.
just had his daughter, super athletic, great at almost any sport he did. He would dominate. Like he was just gifted, and he got cancer.
Wow.
And I got to see as time went on how the cancer just slowly sucked the life right out of him,
Wow.
and um, and it broke my heart. It broke everybody's heart.
How old were you and how old was he?
I was 19,
Oh, wow.
um, and he was super young, um, and it was just a really crazy time in my life because well, I had just caught a case, um, and I was going to court, about to get sent out to prison, um, and my brother, he was like slowly diminishing, right?
Yeah.
And I remember being in prison, so like he got better for a little bit,
Yeah.
and then the cancer came back.
Okay.
So we had hopes that he was gonna get better, heal, and we are gonna move forward in life. And it was very unfortunate for him. What am I talking about? But it was just the way of how everything went down. Um, Ended up being like my birthday, and I got a letter in prison, and from a close friend saying, "Hey, JP passed away. Rest in peace, John Hernandez, my brother."
Wow.
Yeah, and I just couldn't believe it. You know what I mean? Like I was like, "Nah, this ain't real."
Yep.
Like a sense of
Yeah.
denial. Like I don't want to believe this.
Yeah.
Fuck that. Like excuse my language. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like nah, this ain't real. This ain't happening. And then the place I was at was like, I ain't had no family, no friends, no, you know what I
Can't
mean?
shed no tears.
Nah, I can't shed no tears. Like, and I just felt an immense sorrow, but anger. I just felt angry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I just wanted to crash out, and I was like, if I crash out, it's gonna be bad. I'm gonna go to the hole, and you know.
Yeah.
But I didn't know what to do. Um, and it was very painful because like I couldn't even go to his funeral. I couldn't like I put in like a petition to like, hey, he's close because he was my best friend, but he was like my brother, right? His
Yeah.
family, and they were like, well, because he's not actually related to you, we can't make this medical
Wow.
exception to get you over there, um, and so I would hear stories from my friends of like their last conversations with him, and a lot of people got to say goodbye. They got to get that closure. And I think that's what breaks my heart the most is like, I didn't even get to say goodbye. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Oh.
I never got to have, like, I remember our last words. Like, I graduated. While I caught my case, I caught like, my attorney got me something where like I was allowed to finish my senior year in high school, but I could only just go to my classes, do my work, and get up out of there. Like no conversations with people. And then as soon as I graduated, I was supposed to turn myself in, and that was crazy in itself because
Yeah.
at graduation everybody's talking about how they're gonna go to vacation, they're gonna go to college,
Yeah.
they're like, Dre, where you gonna go? And I'm like, damn, I'm
Going to.
about to go to gladiator school. It's about to get real,
Yeah.
real quick, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, my brother, he was just so important in my life, that, that night we celebrated, and, we were having drinks and we were having a conversation, and we're like, man, like, why is this happening to us? You know what I mean? He's like, Dre, you're a smart guy, bro. Like so many people admire you, look up to you. Like there's just something about you, Dre, that
Yeah.
like man, I want to follow you too. You know what I mean? And I was like, bro, you,
Yeah.
I'm not talented like you. I couldn't play ball like you. I wasn't as athletic as you or as strong as you, as fast as you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was just admiration for him, you know.
Yeah.
And I was like, out of all our friends, we all look up to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I was like, you're gonna be an NFL player one day, bro. You're gonna be a great one. Believe that, you know.
Yeah.
And so we were the type of friends like, if I shine, you shine.
Yeah.
If I win, you win. Much like what we're doing right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that was that brotherhood. And you know, we couldn't figure out, but we said, you know what? We're gonna come back from this. Like I'm gonna beat cancer, and you're gonna get out of prison. I'm gonna go visit you, and you're not gonna be locked up forever. And when you get out, we're gonna get back to it, and we're gonna
Yeah.
win again. And when we made that promise, that commitment was like, if I shine, you shine, and if you win first, I'll bring you with me.
Yeah.
Or if you win first, you got me, right? You know. And that was kind of like the last conversation we had, and so when I was reading that letter, it was just like, dang,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, like. And I think, you know, going back to what Jimmy was saying, or, you know, he was like, you bottle it up and you can go one or two ways. You could self-destruct,
Yeah.
self-harm, drink yourself away. You know, I did much of those same things at that time, but I think I had to pray. And, you know, I was like, God, I don't understand why you're doing this to me. I don't know why you took him. I kind of don't want to know, to be
Yeah.
honest, because I don't agree with it,
Yeah.
right? But then, like, I don't know at what point I was like, I think I'm being selfish. I think it's about me and what I wanted,
Yeah.
and, you know, what his family wanted, what everybody else wanted. But, like, God had his own plan, his own purpose, and maybe it wasn't for us to understand,
Yeah.
right? He has
Yeah.
a greater picture. And I said, you know what, Dre, what he's doing, like, because I was down here. I was at a low point in my life. And I was like, I was ashamed because I was like, damn, bro, I'm not winning anything.
Yeah.
I'm not shining at anything right now.
Yeah.
And I said, I got to fix that. I made a promise. I made a commitment to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I said, I'm going to win, and we're going to shine together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, you know, it's been a journey, and here we are. And I help kids, you know, every day. And, you know, I try to inspire who I can inspire. And
Yeah.
I could easily just ruin my life and go back to the old stuff, or I made it, you know, but I don't. I choose to do
Yeah.
better. And I'm like, hey, brother, I hope you watching. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know you here with me. I know you with God. You tell him to hold the door open for me. All right?
Yeah. Every day's a choice, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I will tell you this, like, I understand what that's like, not being able to say goodbye, right? When my brother passed away, he was in prison, right? So he's in prison for like 2 years before this. And I wasn't able to see him because on my birth certificate, it said baby boy Taurus, right? So I guess when I was born, my mom didn't like officially have a name for me. So on the birth certificate, they put your baby, your boy or girl, and then the last name of your mother, right? So my birth certificate till I was like 14, 15 years old said baby boy Taurus. And so when I was going to, in order for me to go to prison, you have to show them your birth certificate.
Mm-hmm.
So it didn't match. It didn't match my social security. It didn't match anything. They're like, nah, he can't come. You know, it's like, so I was sitting there like, dang, like, you know, I'm not going to be able to see him until he gets out, you know. And then all of a sudden I got this paper saying, you know what, everything passed. The social worker that I had at the time, they got it all situated. Hey, you got to go see him. I was like, cool. So 2 weeks, it was 2 weeks I was going to be able to go see him. I got it figured out. In 2 weeks, I'm going to go see him. And then that week he passed away. So talking about like not being able to say goodbye or not seeing somebody. So I was just like telling you I was mad at God. I was mad.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm finally gonna get a chance to go see him, and
And
like you couldn't just at
took
least
him
give me
away.
closure, you know? You couldn't just give me a moment,
Let me
you
say
know?
goodbye.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and so I understand what it was like. And the crazy thing is, I was numb for a really long time. I remember when it happened, I cried for like 10 minutes,
Hmm.
like about 10 minutes, and I stopped crying. Like, and it was like, this ain't even real. And I haven't seen him in so long, so I felt like it wasn't real. And I remember when we went to the, it's crazy because me and my uncle were talking about this other day. He was like, I remember at the funeral, like, you didn't even want to go to the casket. We're like, hey, you know, go up. I was like, no, like, he's like, and he asked me, like, why do you want to go? I'm like, the moment I went up there, I knew the reality sets in. Because then you see him, and there's no denying it after that point. You know what I mean? It's like, but as long as I'm here, I feel like he's still locked up. You know what
Hmm.
I mean?
Hmm.
Like, I feel like, oh, I'm still going to be able to get a chance to go see him. And it was a struggle that, like, at a young age, it's really hard to deal with, you know?
100.
And I remember going up there, and as soon as I went up there to go see him, it broke me. Like, I broke down. I started crying. I couldn't hold back my tears, you know. And after everything was said and done, like, for a while, I was able to convince myself that it still wasn't real. It's weird, like your mind, you know, your mind's
Hmm.
powerful, man. I was like, this
It's
ain't,
like you
this is,
block it out. Like I
yeah,
refuse
yeah,
to accept this reality.
yep. And then, but then you just have, so that's what I say about going to see him at the cemetery. I didn't, it was so hard for years. I wouldn't go to the cemetery.
Hmm.
My grandma's there, my brother's there, and also my little cousin, my auntie and uncle. They lost their son to cancer. You know, he's only 2 years old. I think 2 or 3, something like that. But he was little, like, and I didn't want to go. I was like, no, I'm not going to no cemetery, man. I don't want to see them because they're all buried right next to each other. Because every time you go, you see how real it is.
Hmm.
And it took me years, man. It took me years to go to that cemetery because every time I go, reality sets in a little more. And it wasn't, there just came a point where I'm like, man, like, I feel like I'm not like honoring him by seeing him. I'm like kind of pushing it to the side, you know? And I felt bad. So it's like, but at the same time, I feel like if that was me, right? And I passed away, I would be okay if my kids or my fam didn't want to go see me because it hurts. I would understand. So it's like it's that balance, you know what I mean? So,
Hmm.
but yeah, man,
No, and that's what I was telling earlier to Jimmy. It was like everybody handles grief differently, right? Some people hold a lot of resentment. Some people self-destruct. Some people self-harm, right? Everybody, I say everybody's entitled to their own feelings, but how you handle it is important, right? And I remember after he passed away was like there was a lot of friends, close friends, a lot of family members that started to self-destruct. And like mine was like I was already in prison. I was already going through different things, but they were not. And
yeah,
they started to do drugs and just and they were always like rest in peace, rest in peace, rest in peace. And I'm like, no, that's love, but at the same time, it was like, brother, we all lost him, but don't use his name in vain to destroy your life. You get what I mean?
yeah,
So I was like, cause he's still with us. And do you think he wants to look down and see you, like, ruin your life in his name? You know what I mean?
yeah,
I was like, or would he much rather see you taking care of your family, taking care of your business? You know what I mean? Getting to it, being spiritual, finding your faith with God, and like just being happy. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Because
yeah,
we're gonna see him again.
yeah. I do say I was looking for this. So from the from the first podcast that we had, right? And the little saying that we had
Mm-hmm.
that the thorns of my life may cut deep, but the scars are proof that we keep climbing, you know? And it says, at the top of success, bloom is where pain once pierced, you know?
Mm.
And to me, it's like this thing is, and this like title for the thing is just, it's so crazy because the things that we've gone through in life, you know, it really defines us, right? It really helps us and creates our character. So for me, I don't know if it's like everything that I gone through, but my aspect on life and my outlook is just so different than a lot of people, right? I treasure moments. I try to make the most of everything I do. I try to go all in. Like, I mean, we talk all the time. I'm like, I want to encourage the people that are around me to be better, to go bigger, to go, because we only live once, man.
That's right.
And I've seen it so many times. Friends, their life took them before, it was their time. Like, not it was their time, but too soon. They're gone too soon, And it's like, so the people around me, I'm always encouraging, like, dude, like, what is your passion? Go for it. Like, 9 to 5 is one thing, but bro,
Yeah.
like, we gotta go,
Time is precious.
Yes.
It's a blessing to be here, and every day you have another opportunity to go out and try to make something happen.
Yeah.
Right? Just
Yeah.
because you're in the trenches or life's hard or you're going through these different things doesn't mean that there isn't light at the end of the tunnel, right?
Yeah.
But you got to work for it.
Come on, Drake. Ain't
Right?
that the truth, man? Like, yeah. So I just, I'm thankful, you know what I mean? Because I feel like even at a time in my life where, like how you said you prayed, I didn't pray. I was mad. I was angry. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I do want to say, like, you know, maybe I have a different concept of prayer.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not perfect. But I always felt like when I pray, I try to have that honest relationship.
Yeah, and
right?
that's how you- that's
because I
it.
used to do, like, the scriptures
Yeah,
and the scripture
yeah.
prayers, and I'm like, I'm done with that. Like,
Yeah.
I'm having a conversation,
Yeah.
and I'm upset.
Yep,
Right?
yep,
And I'm
yep.
like, God, like, hey, as your son, like, to an angry father, like, this is what's going down,
Yeah.
and I'm sorry. You know what I mean? But this is how I feel.
Yeah, and you don't have to say yourself. I just, because it's one thing. So the youth, right? Like how I teach the youth. That's one thing I try to teach them. Like, when you pray and you're angry, tell God, I'm angry right now. I'm mad at you. Like,
I'm spazzing out.
because at the end of the day, if he already knows, why keep it from him? He already knows what's up here. Just keep it real. But at that time, I didn't understand. I was just mad, and I was like, you're this way, God, I'm going this way.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, that's how I felt. But for whatever reason, he still protected me. He still guided me. Like,
100%.
there's more to your life than what you think. And one day you'll understand it, and for whatever reason,
And it's so true because people, like, I never thought in a million years I'd be sitting down having this conversation on this podcast with Mike, with Jimmy,
Yeah.
about these type of things, right?
Yeah.
I was just like you. I held that resentment. I was angry, and I did the complete opposite of, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go to church and pray. Nah, I don't want to have nothing to do with that. Yet God still put people in my life over the years, and he knew that deep down in my heart, I was still a good person, and I still cared so much about other people.
Yeah.
And because of my life experiences, because of what I went through, I have that, like, a different type of empathy for them, understanding, right? So it was like, he's like, I see you mad,
Yeah.
but I see that you're still moving with good intent. You're staying true to your virtues, and you're still my son.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he put, guardian angels over my head, and here we are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So real quick, we're about to end this, but I have a question. Like, where do you see this going, right? So what would you like, or where would you like to take this, right? So what do you want people to take from this? What type of interviews do you want to do? What are the type of people you want to bring to here?
That's a big question. I think there's multiple layers to that, but I'm really excited to see where it goes.
Okay.
I would love to keep bringing more people, more stories of resilience. I find that a lot of times people are afraid to talk about it. They're afraid to have these type of conversations, right? It's like being vulnerable in front of the world,
Yeah.
Hey, I'm one of them, right?
Yeah.
And so, like, but I think it's powerful, and I think people need to hear it, And I'm excited to hear more people here in the Tri-Cities, and more stories of success. And I just, hey, I hope we go up.
Come
You know
on,
what I mean?
come on. Yeah, for me, I feel like I want us to find the people that are gonna help the people that really need it. You know, that's I feel like a goal that we started with, and I feel like we're finding the right people. You know, the people that they have stories in life of things they've been through, you know, and not everybody's the same. Some people, you know, the things they've been through, good upbringing, good everything. Like when we had Luciano on the show, you know, he said his life was good, but his struggles were different. You know, everybody has their struggles,
Different
you know,
struggles, yeah.
and that's just what I want to intertwine and where they are at today and how they get here, because your life could be perfect, but just because it's perfect don't mean you haven't been through anything, you know. So
And one thing we had a conversation about in the past too was like, I want to show both sides of the coin. So like, I want to show people that have already gone through it
yeah,
and have turned it around and made it. But I also want to come back and revisit some people that might still be going through it.
yeah,
Go
yeah,
back to the trenches. Go back to where we started.
yeah,
You know, that way
Okay.
people get the whole view.
yeah, for sure. Well, I'm excited, man, to see where it takes us. You know, I'm excited to see, you know, what God has in store for us. But it's gonna
Hey,
be powerful, man.
appreciate you, bro. Appreciate the man
Behind the camera.
behind the camera. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Hey,
But
with that,
thank you, man.
thank you
I
guys.
appreciate it.
Yo.
Let's go.